I was like, oh, I'm not part of this, and I'm no longer the co-host of the show. Surprise, I'm dead. Figuratively, that is, in the world of podcasts. That's a weird way to do an intro. You must be new here. Hi, I'm Rob Abasolo. Hi, I'm Rob Abasolo. Hi, I'm Rob Abasolo. Hi, I'm John Mulaney. No, okay. Ooh, I've definitely been avoiding this one, but here we are. What's new? What do you think going on in my life or in the world of podcasts? All right, so if you're here, it's because A, you're nosy, and B, because you want to know why I'm no longer the co-host of the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Podcast. In today's video, I want to do a few things. Address the elephant in the room and talk about what happened. Clear up my involvement with the Bigger Pockets podcast and the strategy side of things. Kind of let you in on some of the frustrations. I don't know why I said that with an Irish accent. Let you in on a wee frustration. Just get to the video, Rob. That's what everyone's at homes are like, yep, glad he's gone. And tell you some of the plans that I have planned for the future, for me.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
So please stick around until the very end. It would really mean a lot to me. Oh, and hit the like button because it's free and it costs you literally nothing. Let's get into the question that I'm probably asked the most here, and it's, was I fired? And unfortunately, the answer to that isn't really like a black or white thing. Work with me here, and I'm gonna try to answer that as best as possible. Typical YouTuber, can't just say yes or no. I know, I'm sorry, but context is important. But I will say this, Bigger Pockets did not sit me down and say, Rob, you're out of here. You had no talent.
You disgrace! You are everything that's gone wrong in this world. You are self-consumed, no talent, mediocre piece of shit.
Y'all thought that clip was crazy? Just imagine how I explained it to Caleb. Maybe insert that New York guy that's like, you had no talent. You suck. You had no talent. I used to stand on stage for hours. You're nobody. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't anything like that, and that's why in my Instagram post I said there's no drama here. I know a lot of people like want to extrapolate or assume or have conspiracy theories about what went on. It wasn't like a, hey, pack up your stuff, you're gone type of situation. I do want that to be crystal clear.
No, that's super clearish.
I wasn't officially given the boot. All the Canadians right now are like, a boot what? Eh? When I came onto Bigger Pockets about 2.5 years ago, I was doing anywhere from 2 to 4 shows a week, but at a minimum, I was doing about 8 shows every single month. And it was going really well. I thought so, at least. David and I had become good friends. I was getting better at podcasting, which truthfully was a bit tough coming from YouTube, where I can exercise as many takes as I want on a single line, and I can't really do that with podcasts. But it's kind of funny because I've seen a lot of comments over the years and some of the comments lately about how me and David never gelled and how it felt super forced and like we weren't actually friends and all that stuff. And the truth is, me and Dave are pretty dang good friends. If anything ever felt forced or like it didn't work, I can assure you it wasn't because of a fake friendship or relationship. I genuinely believe the culprit is having a podcast show where we're in different rooms in different parts of the country with different internet speeds with delays and lags, which really makes it impossible to have a perfectly cohesive vibes, like clicking, gelling type of show. I can tell you from experience, doing a live podcast is 1,000 times different than a digitally recorded podcast by myself in my studio, thousands of miles away from my bud David, my papa bear. But David and I really did have this rapport, and it was pretty natural, and it was going really well for over 2 years. And then real estate really kind of took a and I think it just became a really difficult industry for everybody. For companies, for individual investors, it was very discouraging. Interest rates were rising, deals weren't penciling out anymore, and people are just always sort of pointing the finger at something as to why their specific success story isn't happening. And it puts us in a really tough role as educators, as thought leaders, as ambassadors for real estate to try and teach it to everybody, when in reality, it's a much tougher time to get in now than it was a few years ago. That doesn't mean that I think it's not possible, because I obviously think it is. I'm still doing real estate, and most seasoned investors that I know are also still doing real estate. It just makes it a little scarier to break into the business. Long story short, real estate is just not sexy right now the way it has been over the last 5-6 years. It's just tough. And over the last couple of months, I just started kind of getting weird vibes about my place on the show. My shows were getting canceled, they weren't getting rescheduled, and I just saw some of the other hosts within the network getting slotted in rather significantly and more than me, because I wasn't really doing that many shows. I definitely felt like there was some favoritism shown to other people in the network that just had some of these recurring spots over and over and over again, while I just kind of like got my shows canceled on me like 10 minutes before the show was actually gonna happen, which was just, you know, weird. Honestly, I value transparency and communication, and I was just not getting that. And I was like, okay, I guess there's just not much I can do about this. And after really just kind of trying to get answers, I was finally able to sit down with someone at BP, and that's kind of where I got the news of the new direction that they were going. And they really sounded great on the surface. Like, I was pretty much on board with all of it. Like, hey, we're gonna, you know, not do sensationalist real estate strategies. We're gonna talk about really practical ways to get into real estate, and we're gonna have guests that, you know, are more relatable and you know, kind of like what they announced. And I was like, awesome. One quick thing that I wanted to clarify as I said this, the way the announcement of like less ads and less sensationalist stories and all that stuff, the way it kind of sounds is like me and David were the reason that that was happening. And I actually just wanted to clarify that from a creative standpoint, David and I didn't choose the guests. We didn't pre-vet the guests. We didn't ever really design those story arcs. We weren't in charge of the ads or how many ads were being served to our listeners. From a creative control standpoint, we actually had very little to do with the show, which is why I was on board with all the changes. But then as I started to get more clarity, I realized that I wasn't part of those changes. I was like, oh, I'm not part of this, and I'm no longer the co-host of the show. And same with David, he would no longer be the host. But I was told that I'd get to be a part of the rotation, and I'd still get to be a part of the BPCU, the Bigger Pockets Cinematic Universe, and like, hey, maybe I'm not the co-host anymore, but I'm still a friendly face, and I'm part of the gang. And I was like, okay, that's not ideal, but maybe it'll give me time to pursue my own projects, and I still get to be a recurring part of the network, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is, but I'll take it. The thing that kind of upset me and frustrated me was that I wasn't actually being asked to come back onto the show. As a matter of fact, the same hosts were being asked to do show after show after show, and I wasn't. And then I was asked to do a show, like singular show, 1 month from now, which would have made my time in between shows 2 months. So on one end, same hosts are doing show after show after show several times in a month. Again, it's hard for me not to feel like there's a bit of favoritism there. And on the other hand, I'm getting a show, single show, like one every 8 weeks. So no, I wasn't fired at all, really. But I was removed from the cover art. I was no longer the co-host, and I was getting a show every so often when everyone else is getting way more shows. But in my mind, it's as close as it gets, because nothing about the current situation is even remotely similar to the initial way that I came into the company. But to be very clear with you, I have been invited back. And so has David, and I've told BP that I'm happy to come back anytime they'll have me. Now I will say making this video probably doesn't help my case of ever coming back, but it is important for me to tell my story, be transparent, and clarify for you, because you deserve it. As my subscriber, as my follower, as a listener of the show, you deserve transparency. It's the least I can do. And I've had a really amazing run with BP, but I've also had a lot of frustrations. I never got to write a book. I never got to keynote BPCon. I never got to MC BPCon, when literally everyone else in the network had done all of those things, and sometimes multiple times. I think David Green at this point has written 78 books since I came onto the Bigger Pocket show. And yeah, I just never got to represent the brand the way I knew that I could, or the way that I wanted to. And key word there, the brand, not my brand. It's not mine. I can't be mad about this. I can be frustrated, but I can't be mad because it's not mine, it's not my company. I don't get to make those decisions. And actually, I'm not. I'm actually really grateful for you, for all of you that have listened over the years. As a matter of fact, here's the video that I started to make last week when I announced my departure on Instagram. So I actually didn't record this. I thought I did, so this is a reenactment, but you can pretty much trust that I choked up like a little baby bird. Oh, I hate showing that. That is cringe. That is cringe, but I wanted to show it to you because I wasn't actually choked up or emotional about kind of losing this role that I had with Bigger Pockets. I was really moved by your comments. And truthfully, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to people being nice to me on the internet. And I'll tell you why in a second, but I gotta change out my battery, so hold on. Okay. Why did I run? I have time. I didn't need to run. What was I saying? Oh yes, I am not used to people being nice to me on the internet. It was never easy stepping into this role after Brandon Turner. He wasn't just like my hero, but everyone's hero. You know, coming in after Brandon Turner, I'm kind of like the stepdad that like goes to the kid and he's like, do you like baseball, little guy? I could never be a stepdad apparently. You know, I had to kind of step in and take over for a person that was universally loved by literally everyone. And that, my friends, is a very difficult thing to do. And I've read a lot of comments, like a lot of them. And sometimes they do be stinging. But thankfully, I come from advertising, I've got thick skin, and I'm all right because the overwhelming majority of comments are nice. There are people that are nice that say, hey, you have helped me, and that is meaningful to me, and that is why I do this job. And when I posted my departure on Instagram, I got to tangibly see the impact that I've had on millions and millions of people after years of doing the Bigger Pockets podcast, which to see them all at once just flooding in like that is just really nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all are nice. Actual thing in my throat. I know that that's a convenient time to say that, but I actually do. I could probably drink some water. It's fine. The thing is, like, 2 years ago, I got diagnosed with this thing called the peritonsillar abscess, and it kind of did this thing to my throat. And they fixed it by putting like a syringe in my throat, and they extracted things, and I was like healed instantly. But actually, my voice is like 50% of the capacity and power that it used to be. And if I talk for a long time, it actually starts to hurt, and I lose it easier. None of that matters to you, but I actually never talked about it on YouTube. So there you go. There's a not so fun fact about me. The moral of the story is I am so honored and grateful to have played a small part in so many of your real estate journeys. It was always my goal coming into this community to make real estate more approachable to the everyday person, and I truly believe that I did that, and I'm going to continue to do that over the years. Before we get into my plans and where I'm going, there is one thing that I want to say about comments, and it is actually very important for me to say this. My skin is thick. Wrong thick, Caleb. My skin is thick, and even having the thick skin that I have, comments can still hurt every so often. I can tell you right now that Dave Meyer is a beautiful, wonderful human being, and you leave him alone. You leave him out of this. I've read some of the comments and some of the discourse out there, and honestly, it does kind of make me sad. If I was reading what he was reading every single day, I would be pretty dang bummed, even with the thick, again, wrong thick, thank you, skin that I have. So be nice, give him a chance, and I really do hope that he crushes it. I mean, I had a phone call last week and I said, look, dude, as someone that replaced Brandon Turner, I do not envy the position that you are in. I have been there, and I wish them the best of luck. He said, I'd love for you to come back sometime. And I said, of course. So anyways, he's human, he's extremely likable, and I think you should give him a chance. And I really do hope that Bigger Pockets achieves whatever it is they're going for with the new direction. And that's mostly true. Just kidding. It is true, and the reason it's true is because all my friends are still there. Tony Robinson, my bestie, Jimmy Daynard, Henry Washington, Kathy Fedke, Ashley Kerr. If I'm forgetting someone, I'm gonna feel so bad. I'm pretty sure that's everyone. Oh gosh. I'm totally forgetting someone, aren't I? They're all just amazing humans, and I really, really want to see them win. They are all marvelous, amazing people. Okay, final part of the show. We've gotten through the hard stuff. Go crack open a beer. Finish this video for the sake of my average view duration. The Raw Built channel, the YouTube channel. You know, the biggest lesson I've ever learned in life is don't build your house on someone else's land. And I'm really, really, really thankful that I had my own platform before Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets was an amazing opportunity that helped me build my brand and my platform, and I'm super thankful for it. But at the end of the day, my favorite thing to do in life is make YouTube content and be my foolish self on camera. So that's one. Got some cool things planned for my channel. More on that in a second. 2, Host Camp. Very soon. I'm working at the time of this recording to get it launched by the time this video goes live. But pretty soon, hostcamp.com is gonna be live. And I really couldn't be more excited to be creating what I'm creating in the short-term rental space. It is my plan and it is my goal to create the #1 resource for all things short-term rentals. I'm gonna have free courses, free guides, free templates, free tools. It is my goal to make the education of short-term rentals as accessible as possible for everyone out there that wants to do this weird, wacky Airbnb thing. The site is almost done. We're just wrapping up a few finishing touches, but pretty soon on YouTube, you're gonna hear me say, hey, if you want more information on this, buy my course. Oh yeah, you can't be mad, because it's free. I'm working on it. I'm recording a ton of new content, and I believe that this will be the company that I build and hang my hat on. 3, HostCon, my short-term rental conference. That's actually happening in 2 weeks, August 29th through the 31st. You can still snag tickets. We are sold. I don't think we're sold out, actually. We still have a couple tickets. It's in Houston, Texas. Go to hostcon.com if you want to snag yours. Hundreds of short-term rental investors, one room, vibe, energy. Cody Sanchez will be there. Tarek El Moussa, Levi Kelly. It's gonna be completely insane, and I really wanna see you there. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And lastly, number 4, my podcast. Front Hustle, where I'm going to be interviewing people who want to or have taken their side hustles full time, therefore making it their front hustle. I have a unique addiction to money and asking people about how they make it and really dissecting every detail and figuring out their blueprints and their playbooks. And that's what this podcast is gonna be all about, is figuring out how you can turn your side income into financial independence. In other words, Front Hustle will be an exploration on how to make money. I do have a request. I want this podcast to live on this channel, which kind of breaks a lot of YouTube strategy and best practice rules, but I don't care because I'm gonna be happy doing it. Don't worry, we'll definitely be covering real estate and the ultimate side hustle, Airbnb, duh, because that's how I got started, but I really do hope you'll follow along, because if you give it a chance and you give me a chance, I think the Front Hustle podcast will change your life. This show will be in person in my new upcoming studio. And if you wanna be alerted when the show goes live, here's a couple of things you can do. Click the subscribe button with the little notification bell so that you're alerted whenever it goes live on YouTube, but more importantly, I've got a link to my waitlist at the top of the description of this video. Go hop on that waitlist and you will be the first to know when Front Hustle launches. Also, I'm gonna kind of need guests for the show, so if you wanna be a guest on my show, I'll leave a form down below that you can fill out and apply. And by the way, this is an idea and a concept that I had that I was starting to pursue right before the Bigger Pockets opportunity came up. And I hit pause on that when I accepted the role of being the co-host of the greatest real estate podcast of our time. And let me tell you, being on the Bigger Pockets podcast has been a wild ride, and it has absolutely changed my life. And it has been a gift getting access to some of the greatest minds in real estate in the entire world. When I came onto the show as a guest, I was really crossing something off my bucket list. But getting the opportunity to share the microphone for David Green for 200 plus episodes for 2.5 years is an opportunity and an experience that I will never take for granted. Bigger Pockets, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this opportunity. And when you call, I will answer. Because I love this job that I have of getting to help people. So Bigger Pockets, thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for changing my life as an investor. Thanks for changing my life as a content creator. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to help people. That's all I ever wanted out of this. I'm Rob Abasolo. Hello. Hi, I'm trying to sign off. Okay, everybody feel bad now. I've got a daughter to feed. This is, I was just about to finish the video. I am Rob Abasolo. Thank you so much for, you know what? I've got a better idea.
This is David Green for Rob, the best podcast partner a guy could ask for, Abasolo, putting the Rob and the Robin to my Batman. Signing off.